Sister Wives Garrison Brown finally acknowledged. Garrison Brown played an important role in recent Sister Wives seasons. The show explored the growing rift between him and his father. Fans hoped Kody would regret his cruelly neglectful actions and make amends with Garrison. Sadly, that never happened, and the young man took his own life in March 2024. TLC had already been filming Sister Wives Season 19 for 2 years, leaving the network scrambling to handle Garrison's death in an appropriate way. The series began with a quick note about his death, and then proceeded as normal. Up until last night, the family hadn't spoken about Garrison on camera at all. Fans felt angry the series seemed to scrub him from the season. Thankfully, Janelle Brown discussed her son in a confessional on Sunday night's episode. Cristin once punished Garrison Brown for swearing. The biggest storyline in Sister Wives Season 19 involves Cristin Brown and David Woolley planning their wedding. The family feels excited for her, but admits she's moving incredibly fast. As for Janelle, she thinks it's strange seeing her friend act so spontaneously. During Sunday night's episode, Janelle explained that Cristin was always so devout and straight-laced. She watched the children all day while the other adults worked. And Cristin apparently always ensured the children were on their best behavior. Garrison remembers being sent to his room for the whole evening because he used the F word, Janelle fondly shared during her confessional. And the kids coming and sliding the food to him like he was in prison or something. The Browns will miss their late son for the rest of their lives. Cristin Brown may have punished Garrison for foul language, but they did share a close bond. She wasn't his biological mother, but she helped raise him from birth. "I'm just gonna have to embrace that pain, 'cause it's never gonna go away," Cristin told Entertainment Tonight. "It's always gonna be there. There's always gonna be a Garrison-sized hole. It's hard. Every day is a day," Janelle recently shared with Us Weekly. "You just take it one day at a time, one moment at a time." It's not immediately clear how TLC will handle Garrison's death once the show gets to 2024. Fans hope they will handle it with grace and tact. Were you excited to hear Janelle speak about Garrison during Sunday's new episode? Are you disappointed that he hasn't been in this season at all? Leave your own thoughts and ideas in the comments below. For years, Garrison Brown had been a quiet figure in the sprawling Brown family. He was known for his candid opinions and occasional clashes with his father, Kody, but he mostly stayed in the shadows, overshadowed by the more dramatic family dynamics playing out in public view. Yet, whispers of his true feelings had always lingered among the family and their fans. And now, in an unexpected turn of events, Garrison was ready to step forward and finally acknowledge the truth about his place in the Brown legacy. The moment came during what was supposed to be a typical family gathering. Cristin, ever the organizer, had proposed a casual get-together at her home in Utah. It wasn't a large reunion, just Cristin, Janelle, a few of their children, and some close friends. The idea was to keep things light and fun, avoiding the heady tension that often arose whenever Kody and Robin were involved. Garrison arrived late, as usual. He was wearing a denim jacket that he clearly loved, paired with worn boots that hinted at his practical, no-nonsense nature. As he walked into the house, his sister Savannah teased him, fashionably late, as always. "Better late than never," he shot back with a grin, but there was something different about his demeanor. His usual playful smirk was tinged with a seriousness that caught Janelle's attention immediately. "Everything okay?" Janelle asked when she managed to catch him alone in the kitchen, away from the hum of chatter in the living room. "Yeah, Mom," Garrison said, hesitating as he opened the fridge to grab a soda. "Actually, no, not really." Janelle tilted her head, her maternal instincts kicking in. "Do you want to talk about it?" He sighed and leaned against the counter. "I've been thinking a lot about everything. The family, Dad, the way things are. It's time to stop pretending like I don't have a voice in all of this." Later that evening, after dinner had been served and Cristin's famous lemon bars had been devoured, Garrison cleared his throat and stood up. The room fell quiet. It wasn't often that Garrison sought the spotlight, and the sudden shift in atmosphere had everyone on edge. "I need to say something," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "For a long time, I've kept a lot to myself. I didn't want to stir the pot or make things harder for Mom or anyone else. But I think it's time I acknowledge a few things, not just for me, but for all of us." Janelle sat up straighter, her face a mixture of concern and curiosity. Cristin, always the supportive aunt, gave him an encouraging nod. Savannah and Sybil exchanged glances, clearly unsure of what was coming. Growing up in this family was, Complicated, Garrison continued. I know that's not news to anyone here. But as I've gotten older, I've realized just how much of an impact all the chaos had on me, and on all of us kids. We were caught in the middle of things that we didn't ask for and didn't understand. His words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken truths. I love this family, he said, his voice cracking slightly. But I can't pretend anymore that I don't have feelings about the way Dad treated Mom, the way he prioritized Robin and her kids over the rest of us. It hurt. It still hurts. And I spent years trying to push that down, to not let it get to me. But it's always there, under the surface. Janelle's eyes filled with tears, though she didn't speak. Garrison turned to her, his expression softening. Mom, you deserve so much better than what you got, he said, his voice filled with emotion. You were the rock of this family, the one who held everything together when Dad couldn't or wouldn't. And I don't think I've ever properly thanked you for that. Janelle reached out and took his hand, her voice trembling as she said, Thank you, Garrison. That means more than you know. Garrison turned his attention to Cristin. And Aunt Cristin, I know you've been through your own battles, and I want you to know that I respect the hell out of you for standing up for yourself and choosing happiness. You've shown all of us what it means to value yourself. Cristin smiled, her eyes glistening with tears. Thank you, Garrison. That means so much to me. But Garrison wasn't done. He took a deep breath, bracing himself for the most difficult part of his speech. As for Dad, he began, the room growing even quieter. I don't know if he'll ever really understand the damage he's done. And maybe that's just something I have to accept. But I spent so much time being angry at him, and I'm tired of carrying that around. I need to let it go, not for him, but for me. The room was silent for a moment, the weight of Garrison's words settling over everyone. Finally, Sybil spoke up, her voice soft but firm. You're braver than I am, Garrison. I've felt so many of the same things, but I've never had the courage to say them out loud. We've all felt it, Savannah added. We just didn't know how to put it into words. Garrison nodded, his expression a mix of relief and exhaustion. I'm not saying this fixes everything. It doesn't. But I needed to acknowledge it, to say it out loud.